back to a class on literature with Auntie Rose. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Please put on your post notification so you always know when a new content has been posted. Alright, so today in literature we have poetry. We know poetry as one of the genres of literature. Good. So poetry means many things to different people. So getting a particular definition to it is very difficult because it means a lot of things to different people. But I will tell you this, that poetry is a part of literature that deals with strong emotion, imagination and passion. It's a part of literature that appeals to your innermost emotions, to your desire, to your imagination. It keeps it wide awake. Alright, so it is written in a metrical form. Of course, there are many poems that some are written, some are not written, some are passed down orally. So it is written in metrical form. Remember I said it is written in verse, lines and stanzas. That's how you know a poetry work. Alright, so without much ado, not all the poems are written in strong language. Some are very strong, some are very serious, but some are also humorous. Some are funny, like our nursery rhymes. We have blah blah black sheep, have you any wool? Some are very humorous, some contain strong language, some tell stories, some are for those in mourning. So that is the poem for you. It is very vast. So let's first of all look at the importance of poetry. Poetry is very important. Number one, it's for telling stories. Most of the stories we know are passed down orally from our ancestors to us. And of course, when they tell us this, they'll introduce one or two little poems to it. Like in the folklore, in the stories, in the folk tales, there are many of them. They introduce this rhyme to it. You sing, it's for telling stories. Then the second one is expressing emotions. Like I said, there are some poems that tell stories of mourning. So in that particular poem, it's expressing emotion. Maybe the person lost someone dear to him or her, or he's maybe talking about a fallen hero. Of course, you should know that the tone of the poem is should be very dark, and it contains strong emotions. While listening to the poem or reading it, you feel so emotional. Alright? Another one is teaching morals. That is one good importance of the poem. It teaches moral. Another one is amusing and entertaining people. Yes, I said some poems are very amusing. They are very humorous. When you listen to them, you tend to laugh. Then also to describe events and objects. That these are the importance of poetry. Alright. Now before we go into the types of poem, let's look at these ones. The poems have special features. They have a special feature that make it different from other poetry and literature work. We have poetic license. Now a poet has this license to make use of grammar the way he or she would want to use it. Anyway, you have the license to do anything you want to do with imagery, the figurative languages you have. All to the hands of the poet to do with it whatever it will. Alright? Then we have inversion. This gives the poet the power to change the ordinary format of a sentence. Instead of, for example, you may have something like this. I love to give out. So the poet has the power to say, going out, I love. Do you understand? He has the power to change the sentence on the format whichever way he or she likes. Alright? The next one is the concreteness. Of course, it has strong emotional language, strong figurative language. Do you understand? It's very strong. It can drive his point home with using figurative languages that are very strong. That is the concreteness here. Then when you talk about the cadence is talking about using the beating. Let me use that word, beating, and the rhyme of the poem. For example, you have twinkle, twinkle, little star. Do you understand? These are the special features, and the poet has the right to all these things. Change the format, the grammar, everything. He can alternate it as he or she wishes. Alright, coming to classification of poem. Alright, we'll be having this in series. Alright, this I'm going to just explain to you the classes, different classes of poem. Then, of course, in the next class, we'll be talking about all the poems. We have the sonnet, the epic, the dirge, and the rest. We'll discuss them in the next lesson. But now let's look at the classification of poems. Poems are classified in many, there are many others, but I picked these three. Number one, we have the narratives. There are poems that narrate an event. They tell a story. They narrate an event. Like I said, the epic. The epic is a type of poem that centers mostly on a hero. It tells a story. Maybe in the poem you can imagine how the little child, or maybe a man, is journey through becoming an hero. Do you understand? That is the epic. It tells a story, it narrates the story. We have the ballads too. They are the narratives that they tell stories. Alright, the second one, we have the descriptive poems. This one describes, they tell stories. They describe an object, they describe an event, the way it happened from the beginning to the end. They just describe it so that maybe if you see it anywhere else, you will know it. There are many poems about Africa, and if you check those outside the continent, those in USA, those in Europe and America, they've not been to Africa before, but looking at some of the poems describing Africa, a land where the sun sets, do you understand? A land where you find a lot of life, a land with lots of vigor and energy. They would want to come and feel for themselves what Africa is all about. Do you understand? So that's how many of them, from the poems written about Africa, they would like to come and see for themselves, because it was quite descriptive, telling them about how rich the soil here is, how people here live in peace, how there is abundance of food and everything. It's descriptive. Alright. Then we have the philosophical. Poem. Now this one is talking about something in the abstract. Something in the abstract. It might talk about the universe the way it is, something concerning spirits, something concerning ghosts, something concerning fairies. Do you understand? This is where our imagination comes to be. Then the poet might start up a poem about a tooth fairy, or something that has happened, just attribute it to one metaphysical being, to one being that we've not seen before or we chose to believe in. And also this poem, from the poems under this category, also tells the stories of myths and legends. Maybe from the ones under this category, you'll be hearing things like the dragon did this. Do you understand? Myths and legend, what? That is it. Alright, so rhyme. Talking about rhyme, you talk about the similarities of sound. That is rhyme for you. So, like I gave in the example earlier, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. If you notice, star and are sound alike. The both of them, they have similar sound. Do you understand? So we have what we call the rhyme and the rhyme scheme. Now, rhyme scheme, we will see it in action when we will be discussing other types of poems in full. So the rhyme scheme talks about the pattern of the repetition of these rhymes in the poem. Do you understand? So let's look at the importance of rhyme. Yes, rhymes have their own importance. Number one, it affords pleasure through the sense of impression. When you listen to it, you hear, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. up above the world so high like a diamond in the sky. It affords pleasure. You feel the emotions pouring out. You like what you're listening to. You are feeling it. So another one, then the occurrence of this rhyme in the poem gives it its stanza. Do you understand? Like we have that twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are. The recurrence of this rhyme makes up the stanza. Remember, the star and R sounds alike. High and sky alike. Then the second stanza comes up with when the traveler in the dark asks you for a special light. When the traveler in the night asks you for the special light. Talking about the star again. So you see, night and light also have similar sound. So that's one of the important. Another one, it's a broad sense of movement to the poem. Like as you're reciting the poem, you notice there is a movement, there is a particular tempo it takes. Do you understand? When you talk about, when you're looking at the rhyme, there is a particular tempo it follows. So that is it. Then people resort to rhyme to make memorization easy. One of the reasons why this rhyme is in the poem is to make you memorize it easier and faster. Remember when you say star and R sounds alike, you bring it in. High and sky alike, you bring it in. Night and light. Do you understand? It makes memorization easy. It creates fresh pleasure as you're watching as you're reading the poem, or as you're singing the poem. Also know that poems can be written and some are not written, can be passed down orally. Alright, please remember to follow the next series where I'll be discussing all the types of poems in full. Alright, we draw the curtain here. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. Till next time, bye.